You are listening to Luxstyle Travel Podcast and Travel Show. I am your host, Tamoy Thelwell, founder of Luxstyle Travel, a luxury travel and concierge agency here in Miami, Florida. I am here with Mark. Mark, how are you doing?
Doing great, Tamoy. How are you?
I'm well. I'm excited. If you guys are listening, you will notice that we are now branded Luxstyle Travel. The good news is we have a lot of clients and listeners asking us more questions about luxury hotels, tour, and we just thought it was right and appropriate to kind of expand, rebrand ourselves. We are now a full-service travel and lifestyle concierge, and so we have a brand new podcast, Luxstyle Travel. So I'm excited about that. Mark, we are going to be talking about Oceania Cruises. I was just on the Vista. I was fortunate to be invited, Luxstyle Travel, to be invited on the Vista for the 2-day inaugural out of Miami. It was a beautiful experience. Mark, I know you've been kind of following along. You've been reading up on the Vista. I know you're excited and enthusiastic about experiencing it for yourself. But I will say it was it exceeded my expectations. What do you think? What are your thoughts on the Vista?
Oh, where do I even begin? Okay, anyone who has been following in the cruising section of luxury travel for the last 20 years undoubtedly has heard the name Oceania. Oceania was founded, just a very, very quick history, was founded in 2003 by a gentleman from that segment by the name of Frank Del Rio, who has since become the chairman of the NCL Group. Oceania is a unique niche player in the boutique luxury cruise space that has focused intensely on not only beautiful vessels with great attention to detail, both in color choice and artwork, but in being the foodies cruise line. They execute Culinary better than most anybody else I know. And I would say they rival, if not exceed, some of the ultra luxury cruise lines that are out there. So that in a nutshell is Oceania. Fast forward 20 years to today, and they are a 7, soon to be 8 fleet cruise line of 3 different styles of vessels. And the one that we're going to be talking about today is their newest, which is the Vista build. It is the Oceania Vista, and soon to be followed next year by the Oceania Allura. I do not know where to begin to praise this particular ship. They have done everything so well, from the design of the vessel. It fits right into their O class of ships, which are the Riviera and the Marina, but it's a little bit smaller on the passenger count. And what they've done is they've taken everything on Marina and Riviera that they've done so well and improved it, taken a good thing, made it better, listened to their guests, and improved the areas that they said, we like this, we want more of it. Oceania said, okay, here you go. And we're going to talk about all of these things.
Yeah, I definitely agree. They listen to their clients. They're also obviously researching. There's a lot of new luxury cruise ships and lines that will be coming out next 5 years. So they had to come out with something new to just keep up with the demands, and everyone's looking for something new. There are a few cruise lines out there. I'm not going to mention them by name, but they haven't really done anything new. And I do get a lot of feedback from our clients. A lot of the travel forums are talking. If you're not doing anything new, I'd be worried. And travelers are expecting new. I was, like I said, pleasantly pleased with the onboard experience, the color scheme. The one thing that is sticking out to me, and I'm seeing this even with Explora, is the term residences to describe their staterooms, to describe what clients would expect to feel on board. So on their website, they actually do, promote a residential style living, luxury living. And I could confirm, I felt exactly that. The suites, the Vista suites, the owner suites, definitely felt like you were in a high-end condo, penthouse level accommodation. It was beautiful.
Right. I'm going to build on what you just said because some of them are exactly that. They are the size of small luxury condos that you might find, say, in the South Beach or right there in Boca Raton or Deerfield Beach. It's got a beautiful contemporary uh, ocean ocean evoking vibe to it. These ships have four different styles of suites on them, starting from the penthouse suite, then something called the Oceania suite, the Vista suite, and the owner's suite. And I think this builds upon what they started with the Marina and the Riviera, and then the original R class builds, Regatta, Insignia, Nautica, and Serena. So you have the guest who is looking for that all encompassing residential style service, including a butler. This starts here at the penthouse suite. And those particular suites, just to give you folks an idea of what the size is like, they start at 440 square feet. And then they go up from there. The Oceania suite, which is the next level up, is now you're at 1,000 square feet,
Yeah.
and they just go up from there. That's not including the balcony. The
That-
balconies on this particular ship is very generous.
Mhm. Very generous. And I got to tour all the suites. I will say, like a lot of the people, their favorite was the Oceania suites. It just was the
Mhm.
best combination of the colors, use of space, a lot of space, not too much space. The Vista suites and owner
Right.
suites getting 2,000 and the owner suites over 3,000 square feet. So the sweet spot for a lot of the guests on board was the Oceania suites. I've met a few cruisers that were on for 30 plus days and they were in Oceania suites. One particular couple was in the Vista suite and actually moved to the Oceania suite. They just felt it was just more their style. But their suites are spacious, they're gorgeous, and like we just described, it feels like you're in a penthouse level condo.
Right. And the nice thing is that if you're depending on where your budget lies, because these aren't going to be inexpensive travel experiences, but the entry level is the penthouse suite, and at 440 square feet just for the residential space alone. Then you have the beautiful balcony itself. You've got that's more than I would see on some of the comparable luxury or ultra luxury cruise lines that are out there. So it's a great starting point for those who want to experience what much more all encompassing, holistic travel, ultra luxury travel experiences like. You start there in the penthouse suites, and of course, once you hit the Oceania suites, now you're talking the size of a small condo downtown. The
Yeah.
owner suite, for example, it fluctuates between 2,200 and 2,400 square feet.
Yes.
That's more. That's the size of a house.
Yes. And it was amazing. There was different. What I loved about the owner suite was there's different living spaces. It has its own bar. There's obviously the bedroom, and then there's entertainment space. So I'd recommend the owner suite for. Well, of course, if you're just sailing and you want to get in the owner suite, of course. But if you are traveling as a party, or if you're, multi-generational travel, you can entertain in that room and still have private areas for, if you want to kind of escape for a little bit. There's plenty of room
Right.
to entertain and essentially live. It is a residential style type of accommodation.
Right. And to build on that, even on the smaller ones, from the Oceania and the Vista suite upward, I'm looking here at the room schematics and the layouts, and you absolutely have that. The living quarters are completely separate from the family room / dining room, and then from that you've got direct access to the very expansive deck. I'm looking here at the deck, and it's got two full length loungers, not including two two small deck chairs plus a table. And that's just the Oceania suite. The Vista suite, now we're talking even more. Now we're getting between 1450 and 1850 square footage with a 160 to 170 square foot deck space. And this particular instance, you've got these are in the back of the ship, and you've got a wraparound pool deck. So the beautiful thing about this is when you're sailing in and out of a very beautiful scenic port, let's say Monte Carlo or Valencia or Cartagena, or Malaga, really, where you've got everywhere you look, depending where the ship is positioned, you've got another beautiful view to look at. Well, you can enjoy it all at the same time because you've got an angled deck. And the nice thing here is you've got even more space in which you can spread out. That extra 400 to 800 square feet makes all the difference in the world if you are doing multi-generational, or let's say you're on board with some of your business partners or a group of special friends. You're celebrating something unique, and you can have everybody together, say for evening cocktails and canapes, or even a catered meal within your suite. You've got all of the room for this, and the butler helps arrange all of that.
Yeah. And we did mention multi-generational or group travel. The concierge level veranda, which is what I stayed in, is a beautiful stateroom. I know we've been focusing on suites, but if you just want a veranda stateroom, the concierge level stateroom, which is the lowest level veranda that you could get, beautiful, spacious. I was in stateroom 8011 on the 8th deck. Now, if you're watching this on a video, I'll put a picture of this. Some balconies, some verandas are this interesting asymmetrical shape, but it allows for a larger veranda, which, so for me, if I was booking this for my client, I would introduce her to this cabin, the stateroom. There are a limited number of staterooms that have this. It's just based on the position of the stateroom. You just happen to get lucky and a larger veranda. And these are the tips that you keep in mind when booking a veranda. You're booking a concierge level veranda, but you book this particular stateroom, you get a little bit of larger veranda. But I did want to say, although I was in a concierge level veranda, I feel like I've been saying that a lot. There was still like marble accents. Our table was a marble tabletop. So even though you're maybe in a lower level, you're still feeling the exact quality and amenities that you might receive booking a suite. I did want to mention that because I was happy with my stateroom. I didn't feel like obviously space is of the essence when you book a suite, but in terms of quality, I didn't feel like I was missing out in terms of quality. And you would see that in other cruise lines. If you're in a lower level, you start missing some of the quality elements that make the stateroom what it is. But I didn't feel that way at all in our concierge level.
Yeah. And I'm looking at the concierge level veranda staterooms, and the stateroom square footage is 291, which is a lot of square.
Yeah.
If for those who are in the metric system, that's 27 square meters, which is a very, very generous space. Now, I will say that for those who are accustomed to a balcony stateroom on, say, a premium or a mainstream cruise line, the room square footage is much greater by at least 100 square feet, if not more. Your typical balcony stateroom on, say, a mainstream or a premium cruise line would run about 160 to 170 square foot, give or take, depending where on the ship you are. And then add another 40 or so square footage for the balcony. And now you've got much more than that. And you can clearly see this is space to spread out some. This level of square footage for a balcony stateroom is the suite size on other boutique luxury cruise lines.
Yeah.
So for the price for a balcony stateroom, you are enjoying extremely nice and generous levels of space. And looking here at the schematic, you've got much more room in the bathroom to pivot and do what you need to do. beyond what you typically have seen in, again, your typical balcony or ocean view stateroom on a much larger vessel. Normally, all those who have cruised know how small those bathrooms can get, and sometimes they can get extremely tight. But that's not
You
the case here. You've got a full stand-up shower, you've got a rainforest shower head, lots of room to spread out and change.
you said it. I traveled with my husband. Not that we would really ever get to get dressed or get ready in that same space, but it was big enough that we both could stay, stand in there with enough room to kind of, quickly brush our teeth or whatever. In a lot of, like you said, a lot of the staterooms, contemporary or luxury, the bathrooms are small space. You could barely turn. This was, I could walk. I had plenty of space. I was very surprised and pleased with the bathroom in the veranda, the entry level stateroom. It was beautiful.
I agree with you. I've seen the bathrooms on the Vista, and I completely agree. You're talking about beautiful granite. It's either granite or marble paneling all throughout, and lots of room. I could stand. I'm not a very small person, but I could stand, spread my arms, and not risk touching a wall. And
Oh
that's
yeah.
important. That's especially true if you're in the shower, because traditionally showers in staterooms are very, very tiny things that either have a clingy shower curtain or a curved
Yeah.
door. And you, unless you're rather petite, you're going to have a hard time. You may have a hard time.
Yeah.
That's not the worry here. This is a shower that's more generous than you might find in your home bathtub.
Yeah, it was great. And the amenities, the toiletries was Bulgari, which was they were beautifully scented, light, airy. That was a good accent to the bathroom. Or, there's just little touches. We walked in, there was a bottle of champagne that's pretty standard waiting for us. Um, there was two cashmere and silk shawls. You can't take these home, but it's available for you to use in and around the ship. Sometimes, especially as women, we get chilly at night. That was available in every stateroom. They gave us free bottles, water bottles. Of course, we're on the theme of being sustainable, so free water bottles to use. There was a free tote that you were able to take and use as you wish. The room, you felt like you were in a luxury space. That's for sure.
Yeah, yeah. I think what you're referring to are the Vero water bottles.
The very
This is
water.
something that,
Yeah.
yeah, this is something Oceania started rolling out just before the pandemic started. They did away with the single-use plastic bottles, that we're all familiar with,
Yeah.
for better or for worse. And for the sake of helping do their part to keep the oceans clean, they invested in Vero water, and there are refill stations all throughout the vessel. So that's a
Yeah.
very nice touch. And to build on not just the Bulgari bath amenities, but also the linens and the mattresses that are in, even up to the suite level. These are all Italian made. The mattresses, I looked this up. The mattresses are made by Mapta de Mal, and the linens are made by Emabisi. I apologize if I'm butchering them wrong, but these are all Italian makes. And the thread count on the linens is 1,000 count Egyptian cotton. So
Yeah.
you're talking about a breathability unlike anything else that's out there. From what I understand, they also use chamomile oil to spray down on the linens itself. Chamomile is extremely subtle and also very relaxing.
Yeah.
It's if you need to sleep, it really does not get much better than the smell of a nice warm cup of chamomile tea. I
Oh,
think
yeah.
it's delicious, and it gives the perfect tiny subtleness, and it's that little subtleness that separates the premium experience from the luxury experience. And Oceania is taking this very, very seriously. So I can't praise this enough that they're taking this level of attention to detail.
And you
Uh,
make a good point. When I started learning, once I started this luxury travel career, Oceania was always positioned as a upper premium product. I can definitely confirm they want to be luxury. They are, region I would still say is a little bit higher in terms of the luxury approach, but Oceania is just right there. I would say they're more than just a premium cruise line with the Vista here, and the still just the little accents, the attentiveness of the butlers, the staff. I felt like I was on a luxury ship.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I most certainly would call this a luxury cruise line.
Yes.
The difference is that it's what you call, I call it boutique luxury because it's luxury light. One of the things that makes a luxury cruise line a luxury cruise line is the level of inclusivity in what you're paying for, not just the spacious rooms
Right.
and the attention to detail that we just talked about. Oceania is ideal for those customers who want to have a bit more of an a la carte experience in their fare. Say you're not given to drinking a lot of wines or cocktails. Maybe you just want one or two with your meal, and you're fine. Then paying for something like a Regent experience or a Crystal experience isn't going to work because the costs for the alcohol are already built in.
Yeah.
Or if you're somebody who would prefer not to drink at all, why subsidize the alcohol tab for somebody who does? So they've chosen to go this particular route. What you do get though is so wonderful that I still must call this luxury. You can of course buy drink packages so that for those who want that. I know that's what I personally would do. Tamoy, I'm sure you feel the same way. I
Yeah.
dearly appreciate artisanal cocktails as well as good bottles of wine paired beautifully with what I'm eating in either the main dining room or the specialty restaurants. But what Oceania does is because they are so culinarily focused, there are no upcharge specialty restaurants, with the exception of Privé, which
Okay.
is meant for high end special dining occasions. And also there is La Reserve, which I believe is what it's called, on two of their other vessels, the Marina and the Riviera, which is sponsored I should say in partnership with Wine Spectator magazine. Those are not standard restaurants, so in that case, those are at an experience fee. But the main restaurant, and as well as the specialty restaurants, are all built into the fare. So if you want to eat in specialty dining and you're spoiled for choice, and we'll talk about what the different dining options on the Vista are, you don't have to worry about paying for a specialty restaurant experience.
Yeah. And speaking of the culinary experience on board, I was excited. I was, we were texting while I was on board. I was excited and lucky to get reservations for Red Ginger, and I would recommend making your reservations ahead of time. We could definitely help you.
Oh, absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
these
Yep,
restaurants.
yep.
Yeah, these restaurants are top notch. If you try to go in the day of without making reservations, probably slim chance you'll actually get in. But my favorite restaurant on board, Red Ginger. Red Ginger was phenomenal, phenomenal.
Mhm.
It's kind of like a fusion style restaurant. I definitely you're I can't even find the words. It was just a beautiful experience. It felt like an experience. It didn't just feel like a meal. Everything was the presentation, the descriptions of the foods, and of course the foods themselves was just beautiful, amazing.
Right, right. To build on that for a little bit, what for those who might not know, Red Ginger is one of the specialty restaurant choices that is on Vista. It is their Pan Asian restaurant, and it has when the concept was introduced about 11 years or so ago on the Marina, when that was rolled out, it has become known as the Pan Asian restaurant of Pan Asian restaurants to appreciate. What you're talking about are Thai, Korean, Japanese, and Malaysian specialties that are in there. It's less not so much a focus on the Chinese style. They're looking at the other styles of cuisine, and they are. This is for what I understand. It is the restaurant with the most challenging. What's the word I'm looking for? Of all the restaurants, it's the one with the longest wait list.
Oh,
Everyone is guaranteed one meal in Red Ginger per se, but anything beyond that, it's catch as catch can.
yeah.
Those who are in the suites have priority reservation to eat at Red Ginger.
Yeah.
The other, just to touch on the other ones that are on this particular vessel, you've got Toscana, which is their Italian restaurant, Polo Grill, which is their American steakhouse, Ember, which is a brand new concept. This is what I'm particularly interested in. This is American style eating like you might find at a high-end Napa Valley restaurant.
Hmm.
It looks like you're like a restaurant you might be in Napa, with the woodwork, the arched ceilings, and the very American, new American focused dining menu. Let's see, what else am I missing? The other is something called Aquamar, which is their health forward breakfast and lunch dining menu.
Yeah.
And then you've also got the common things that you would have on most any other cruise ship, the grand dining room, which is their take on the main dining room. Now, this is like being in a beautiful continental / cosmopolitan restaurant in a major U.S. city. And the menu changes nightly, so it's not a fixed menu like you would find in the specialty restaurants.
Yeah.
So you eat in the main dining room every day for lunch or for dinner, and the menu would always vary. That's very, very important. The other is the buffet. This is one of the best buffets that are out there. Again, a varying menu. The buffet is open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I happen to be a fan of, on embarkation day, going up to the buffet for lunch and using the buffet for breakfast. Other people prefer going into the main dining room, or in this case, the grand dining room, for their breakfasts. But the nice thing is that if you want to go to the buffet in the evening hours, sometimes they will reflect the menu for a particular style of cooking. So it might be Mexican night one night, it might be French night one night, it might be Moroccan, it might be English, it might be Italian, it might be Japanese, could be any of those, Filipino or Indonesian. They're going to make those kind of fun culinary experiences in the buffet.
Yes. Yeah. And I had the chance to go to Aquamar Kitchen. I did do that 2 days.
Mhm.
Like you said, it was a health forward environment. They had acai bowls, oatmeal, smoothies. The smoothies were amazing. Probably my favorite. I went there a few times just for the smoothies alone. Barista is like a cafe where you get coffee, specialty coffees. They, in time for fall, they had a pumpkin spice latte. So I thought that was very interesting. And, the quality espressos and then pastries to go along with it. So barista, I went there a few times. I have a sweet tooth. I love having pastries with my coffee. So that was nice too. The Waves Grill, one of the things that I love telling people to do when you go to the Waves Grill is go, well, first let's kind of do a quick comparison. If you go on a contemporary or larger ship cruise, you go to the Waves Grill, you're getting burgers and hot dogs, right? At the Waves Grill, yeah, the Waves Grill here, you get Wagyu burgers. I always tell people, go get the surf and turf sandwich. It was filet mignon and lobster tail sandwich. It was amazing, So that's just the quality of the foods that you get at any time of the day. You want it, you go and get a filet and then lobster tail sandwich. Yeah. It was really nice. Right. It was really
right, and no extra and no upcharge for that. If you want to watch lobster, surf and turf at the Waves Grill every day, have at it. Just to build a little bit, the Waves Grill is the poolside grill. All cruise line, well, for the most part, all cruise lines have a pool style grill where you get your sandwiches, your burgers, your shakes, your
Yes.
wings, and what all those are available at Dave's Grill, plus a whole lot more. And again, the highest quality Kobe or slash Wagyu beef and lobster tails. One of the things Oceania does is they source their own. They have their own. They ship their own lobster down from Maine.
Yeah.
They have their own sourcing for that. Likewise with their meats. Even the flour they get is milled in France, especially to Oceania's culinary specifications, and a lot of that has to do, I think, with who the executive culinary director for Oceania Cruises is, none other than Mr. Jacques Papin, the famous French chef of international renown, who had a program on PBS, like with Julia Child, introducing French cooking to the American palate. And
Yeah.
he's been affiliated with Oceania since the start, 20 years ago. So, yeah, that's Waves Grill. And I wanted to build on Baristas a little bit, what you were talking about. Baristas is like a Viennese coffee house. So not only do you have very high quality, what is it, Ely Coffee, I believe that's the brand that Oceania offers, but you touched on the baked goods that are there. The Viennese coffee houses are something that must be seen to be believed. And you get to experience that here on the Vista. The other thing that the ship does, and this is done on all Oceania sailings, is a high tea, an afternoon tea.
Yeah.
And this is done, I think, typically in one of the lounges. And it's on Oceania, an elevated British afternoon tea experience.
Yeah, and I love tea, so I didn't get a chance to participate in that or enjoy that, but I love tea, so that's something. And they put out the whole works. You get your teacups, your little pastries. I love it. They do a really good job. The one thing I did want to mention was the Founders Bar. So I think this is a little bit new for Oceania to really emphasize a mixology experience, and definitely the Founders Bar, which is unique to the Vista, will probably be on the sister ship, the Allura, but Founders Bar, a beautiful, really funky experience. That bar was packed every night. In fact, on board, we had a lot of the executives on board. Everyone was saying, and I think I heard an executive said they were going to make it larger on the sister ship just because it was just packed. That was probably the hot spot in the evenings. And it's not because people are drinkers per se. It was I don't even want to say a performance, but a lot of the cocktails were made use of, I don't know the proper name, but there's smokers, smoking elements where they're smoking different types of woods. And so you're getting, like an old fashioned or these different cocktails, and you're really smelling and tasting the burnt thyme. They burnt or smoked pineapple, like just really interesting drinks. And I'll put a video up here if you're watching this on YouTube, where it was almost like a little show, between you and your bartender. It was really cool.
Yep.
Really cool.
Yeah, and I'm looking right at it right now. And I saw the video that you're talking about where they have those vapor infused bubbles that contain smoke or other elements there that just lend not just a visual appeal, but also add new flavor notes to what you're drinking. So this is just one of many great bars that are there on this particular vessel. So you are going to be spoiled for choice.
Yeah.
And since we're talking about those who would be on the ship for 30 days, 45 days, 60 days or longer, even such as doing a world cruise, virtually every portion of the culinary landscape is available for you to explore on this ship. 7 days just simply aren't enough, even though that's the common length of time most people would typically do a cruise. But to really appreciate Oceania, you need to be minimally, in my opinion, 10 nights, 11 nights, preferably longer, to
Yeah.
really enjoy what the ship has to offer. What Oceania is designing to do is not just bring you into the special ports of call and then get you off the ship and to enjoy the ports of call, but when you're on the ship, leave you so impressed that sometimes you might say, do I want to get off the ship or don't I want to get off the ship?
Yeah.
It's that good on board.
Yeah, and you made a good point there. 7 days is not enough. Of course, you know, obviously if your schedule allows it, I'd recommend, like you said, the 10-day. We also specialize in the retire at sea program. A lot of our clients who do the retire at sea will book either seasonally or for the ones that can afford it all year round. And we could help you with that, or even just booking back to
Right.
back. Definitely reach out to us, and we could help assist in booking and arranging that for you.
Right.
But the spa. Let's talk about the spa. I know you're
Oh, my.
if anyone knows Mark, and if you've been listening to our podcast, you know this is his jam right here.
Oh,
What do
you
you?
better believe it.
Yeah.
Oh, where do I start? Okay, now all of the spas on any of the Oceania vessels, even going back from the days it started, the R-class vessels, um, all of them have a thermal suite. Now, the thermal suite at the time was not just the shower in the treatment room or the relaxation room or the fitness area off to the side. They have an aromatic steam room and a thalassotherapy pool on the back end of the vessel. That has been a common theme on all 7 Oceania builds. Well, that got taken up a notch when the O-class vessels came out, because now they added the heated concrete loungers. For those who might not know, what a heated concrete lounger is it looks like a concrete deck chair, ergonomically designed, like you were relaxing in a folding chair, or like a deck chair up on the pool deck, or on a deck overlooking a lake. But it's tile lined and is heated. So you've got all this wonderful warmth coming up into your back, into your waist, into your legs, onto your shoulders. If you're tense, if you're stressed, if it's been a long day of travel, or you've been in port all day and your muscles are sore, it is a perfect way to relax. I might have been known to fall asleep on those things. So that's the concrete loungers. What Oceania has done here is they've made the thalassotherapy pool much larger. So it is an experience unto itself. This is one of the most beautifully designed, thoughtfully designed, indoor/outdoor thermal slash thermal spa experience. No other vessel does it quite like this. Not even their sister brand Regent has a thermal suite like this. It's a beautifully executed space. And anyone who's in concierge class or greater gets complimentary access into the thermal suite. So this is, of course, includes your butler suites, complimentary access. Anyone else below that, lots of luck. If there even are day passes or week passes available.
Yeah, and I was just thinking as you were describing how relaxing the space is. It really is. A lot of the times I know we're comparing it to contemporary, but a lot of times when you go on these contemporary brands, you could come home and feel exhausted and overwhelmed and feeling like you still need a vacation. You truly feel like you are in a spa. You really do feel relaxed. You really will come back feeling vitalized. They have the top, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? High state of the art facilities. Like you said, the thermal suites. They have a sauna, the pool, the heated pools. It really is a vacation. It really is relaxation. They have barbers. It's well rounded, full service. You really will feel rejuvenated.
Yep. I'm looking here at a picture of the thermal suite, and what we'll do is we'll post a picture of this embedded into the video so that you all can see it. But it is an indoor-outdoor thermal thalassotherapy pool that is covered. It's open on the back end of the ship and has a beautiful stained glass ceiling, if you will. What's nice is as you enter the steps coming down, both to your left and to your right are those high-pressure fountains, if you will, that jet a stream of water right on your shoulders or onto your back. So if you're tense and you need a massage without an actual massage, these jets of water do the job for you. I have been in multiple thalassotherapy pools, and this one just takes the cake. So beautifully done.
Yeah. And I'm just looking, I'm trying to think of any other things that I want to mention that I really enjoyed on board. The entertainment was good. Of course, this is a smaller ship, luxury, premium luxury. So of course you're not going to get the Broadway style entertainment, but the entertainment was still great performances, live music. Everybody was talented. There was for the 2 nights that I went to the show, they were different. So one night was more instruments embedded into the performance, and then the other night was more musical and more cover band. I don't want to say cover band, but covers of popular musics. But it was nice. The entertainment was, I enjoyed the entertainment. About an hour long. It felt like I was in a more of a lounge setting more than like a theater. It was good. Yeah.
Yep. And just to build on that, one of the things that Oceania does is their entertainment isn't just relegated to what you might see in the theater, but also the experiences in different spots aboard the ship. For example, they'll have a string quartet playing during afternoon tea. During embarkation day, I believe they have a string quartet playing in the Grand Atrium. You have the lounges where you'll have different musical acts performing, but you'll also have a lecture series that you can take part in. So say you're sailing in interesting parts of the world with deep historical traditions, you'll have people coming on board or just resident scholars on board who will do a deeper dive into a particular port or a particular something that might make this particular area noteworthy. So those are things that give Oceania a more holistic approach towards enrichment and where it's not just entertainment.
Yeah, and speaking of enrichment, like they did have an artist loft, which was I thought really nice. And if you look online, put this in the video. Literally, you'll have someone helping you or teaching you how to paint or draw.
Correct.
Just a really cool thing. They also have the Link Digital Center. So another thing that I think is pretty unique on this Vista ship, they had a digital center helping people learn how to use social media, how to take, the images, the beautiful images that they've taken on their trip, on the ship, and help them just learn how to share. Just, some people need help with that. And so I thought that was cool to just have that on board, giving people the opportunity to really share their experience with those, on land. So that was another cool thing that's new.
Right. Yeah. And that builds again on that level of that holisticness that I was talking about. You can put into action things you learn or learn new things. For example, learning how to maximize how to use the camera on your smartphone or on your iPad. The artist's loft, where you can learn how to work with a particular medium. This is like an artist studio, a floating artist studio, complete with the easels and the paints and the different mediums that people would use, like say ceramics or oil or acrylic or watercolor. My personal favorite. You'll have an artist on board that will teach you. So you can say you've taken a picture of something, or you're in a particular port that is just so highly beautiful. Like, for example, Malaga, one of my favorite ports. The artist will help you do the sketch, help you capture what you see in your medium of choice, and then also not to leave the culinary side neglected again, but they have a culinary center where the chefs on board will lead a cooking class. Now these are at an additional charge, but these are state of the art centers with all of the latest and greatest, if you will, higher end pots, induction stoves, and then you're taught by both an executive chef or even Jacques Papa. For example, he was just on a sailing in the Mediterranean. It was something in France, and he was leading classes in the Culinary Center, as was his daughter, Claudette, I believe is her name, and they're leading the class in how to make whatever it was that they decided that they wanted to showcase. And so you have the opportunity to really gain a level of enrichment. So for the retire at sea folks who really want to spend the time developing a passion, and if that passion happens to be cooking, if that passion happens to be or an artistic or photographic direction, you've got the opportunity right here to spend that time at sea developing a new craft or discovering the love you didn't know you had.
Yeah. And you mentioned the words holistic. I love it. I'm happy that you mentioned retirement at sea. We handpick specific cruise lines to partner with this unique program that we have. And Oceania, especially with the Vista, is just a perfect fit. Culinary, the spa, fitness. They have a pickleball. I know pickleball's been super popular. But just these little things, these extra real life experiences that they're bringing on board to really allow you to feel like you're not missing anything. So if you are part of this retire at sea, you're not. It feels like you're living in a residence. It definitely is a great alternative to living in 55 plus communities or retirement homes. You're still getting the attentiveness and the activities and everything else that just comes with everyday living on board this ship. So I love it.
Yep. Yeah. I cannot praise Oceania enough. It's clearly one of the top cruise lines I am proud to represent and offer to people. And I know you feel the same way. They execute so well, and they've had 20 years to do it to get to this level. So we would love to speak with any of you about what the Vista or any of the other ships have to offer. Oceania ships can be found really and in all different parts of the world, not just the Mediterranean during the summer months or Northern Europe during the summer months or the Caribbean in the winter months, but they circumnavigate Japan. They go down to Australia, New Zealand, French Polynesia. They do tours of the South American continent. They sail past Antarctica. They do the spice route, which is one of my bucket list types of cruises, and that takes you from Singapore past India, up the Arabian Peninsula to Dubai and through the Suez Canal and into the Mediterranean.
Yeah. And so
the ancient route.
Yeah. Yeah. The itineraries, they have really unique itineraries. I did want to mention I sailed with a full ship, about 1,200 passengers. Did not feel like it at all. Did not feel crowded. Did not feel overwhelmed at all. In any given space, there was just a handful of people at a time. Of course, at nighttime when you're in the theater watching a performance but even the lounges, it never felt overwhelming. It never felt like I was in a room full of people. So it was a beautiful experience. If you guys are interested in Oceania, especially the Vista, I'm highly recommend it. Reach out to us. Our phone number is 1-888-905-7366. So you can reach out to myself, Tamoy, at luxstyletravel.com, or Mark. Mark, you want to give him your email?
Yeah, it's Mark with a C at Lux Style Travel, and that's LUXE style STYLE travel.com. Mark with a C at luxstyletravel.com.
And again, guys, we are a concierge, a luxury travel and lifestyle concierge. You will be able to take advantage of a full service program when you use us to help book your travel. Visit our website, luxstyletravel.com. This was a great episode. If you have not yet subscribed. If you're watching this on YouTube. We will be posting podcast videos every week. And if you are listening to this on a podcast platform, thank you so much. I ask that you share with a friend and follow for more. Mark, it was amazing speaking to you as always. I love your passion for travel. That's why I have you here with me. I really appreciate your insight. Thank you for being on today's episode.
Glad to be here, and I look forward to working not only with you but also all of those who are interested in learning more about what Oceania has to offer. We're not. I don't think we're doing it quite the justice that this experience deserves.
Yeah, that's for sure. You definitely have to experience it to really understand the value. But guys, thank you so much for listening and watching. And until next time, you guys take care and travel well.